This podcast is brought to you by absolutely no one. We have no sponsors and no one cares. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Movie Mates podcast. I'm here with my wonderful co-host,
Callum. My beautiful friend Matthew.
Oh, thanks, babe. Today we're going to be discussing rom-coms. It's the rom-coms that we've all been waiting for.
The pinnacle of the podcast.
Absolutely.
So today we're talking through 4 of my favourite rom-coms.
Yeah.
These are very well regarded by most people, but specifically they're my favourite. I think we're going to go chronologically by year.
Yeah, sure.
So
that's when Harry Met Sally is first.
When Harry Met Sally is the first one we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Do you want to take us away?
Do you want to just launch right in?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is from 1989 and was directed by Rob Reiner. Do you want to just talk through this film chronologically?
Yeah, so friendship talk in the car.
That's very far in, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, sorry, no, that's just a few minutes in, but just to go from the very start.
Okay.
Do you think the intercut interviews with the other couples is really weird?
The old elderly people, how they
Yeah,
met. I think
yeah.
it's really strange. It breaks the narrative
really
completely.
weird. I think it's because it's such a short film. It's an hour and 36. It's like an hour and 36
It feels longer
minutes.
though.
Yeah, but it'd be like an hour and 20 if they took those out. So I
Yeah,
think they just did that to pad the runtime.
It does feel like it's breaking the narrative of it, and it's strange.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I suppose it kind of comes full circle at the end because it's they're doing an interview, so it's almost as though all those other couples could have a movie made about them as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of comes full circle, but it is really weird during the film. It is quite a weird narrative break.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or did you think Harry's first girlfriend Amanda and Sally looked exactly the same?
They look really.
They looked exactly the same. Yeah.
I was like, he has a type, this guy.
Yeah, just not for hair color,
No.
but other than that, exactly the same. Did you think Harry was extremely unlikable at the beginning?
Yeah, he's a bit of a jackass, to be honest.
His hair looks ridiculous, doesn't it? He looks like Michael Keaton in the 1989 Batman.
It looks so strange, but Billy Crystal's great. It seems like he's playing 2 different characters almost, because
yeah, no,
I know
he
supposed to
becomes completely different.
Yeah.
But did you think he looked 47 when he was playing a 22-year-old?
He looks much older than in 1977.
He's meant to have just left university.
He looks like 45.
Yeah.
Is that the friendship talk in the car then, basically?
There's just the diner scene, but so in the first diner scene we see Sally's kind of weird compulsions. So she is very high maintenance, as he points out.
I think it's supposed to suggest that they're not a perfect couple.
Yeah.
I guess, so that they have different quirks and stuff, and how they come together is quite.
At least it's endearing. It's not an annoying high maintenance. But yeah. Do you want to go into the conversation?
What do you think about the idea? Do you think a man and a woman can be friends?
I had this down to talk about as well. Just to preface this, for every movie I have written about 2 sides a day for. I don't know what came over me, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think but
I think if you're attracted to them, there's always going to be a problem.
Because someone's always going to want more. I guess.
I mean, he made the point that guys may always want to sleep with their friends, but if they're not attracted to them, then I think that can work. But I think there's always probably going to be an underlying issue if you are attracted to them.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's probably one of the best scenes in the film. I think just the complexities of that relationship at the start and stuff, and how they're friends or not even friends really, and then it evolves.
And it's a running arc, as you say. Did you think when you saw her boyfriend Joe, Meg Ryan? Yes, exactly. Meg Ryan can do so much better than either of them.
I know.
I did not. I haven't seen this film in a couple of years, so I was concerned that I wasn't going to like it as much as I did the first time I saw it, but I think I liked it more. I think I saw the deeper meanings of stuff, but I was just Meg Ryan's a very attractive lady.
How old is she in that film? She looks like 20s.
But she must be in her 30s, yeah. But, I mean, them both playing, just out of university students was a bit weird. And then they instantly jumped 10 years.
That is strange. We sort of spoke about this with Endgame, about the time jump and how it's a bit jaunting. This film, I think, it's very jaunting because they look the same, and then he's got a half a beard or something. It's weird, but
I mean, he looks better with the beard. I think.
He does, yeah.
More distinguished. Do you think Helen sounds like a bitch? Whenever he's just at the sports game, is it football or baseball or something?
Yeah, it's baseball.
Yeah, he's just Like he's
He's,
just absolutely.
I love the
destroyed
bit
her.
like he's complaining about his life, and every few moments he does a
What?
Mexican.
That is a really good
That's
part.
great, yeah, but that's his wife, right?
Helen,
Yeah.
the one that he divorces.
It doesn't. Yeah, he just doesn't sound very happy.
No.
I can't really blame him.
I'm glad that they got divorced because clearly he wasn't happy. But yeah, she sounds awful. I did write down some dialogue, and the line where Sally says to Harry that I think I missed the idea of him. I don't know why that kind
That's
of
a really nice line.
That kind of hit me. Yeah, it is a very well written film, and
then
that line in particular I liked.
It must. It's a few scenes later, but the double date.
Oh, it's quite a few scenes.
It's quite a few scenes later, but
Do you want to talk about that, and then we can go back?
Yeah.
If you want, because you have notes specifically to talk about.
With
Marie
Marie
and
and
Jess.
Jess. I like the way that originally it's supposed to be Harry and Marie, and then
Yeah.
Jess and Sally. But then I like the way it sort of interjects, and they find the opposites of each other almost, like during the date. It's quite jaunting,
Well,
but it's quite good.
Yeah, that it's nice that happened, but I did find it kind of weird that like if you're trying to so badly get away from each other, why would you
go on a double date?
Why would you set each other up with people that you're not going to connect with? Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't Sally set Harry up with someone similar to her?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, if she's so desperate to like get him out of her life to not be like,
Oh, but Marie's
fall
played.
in love with him.
Marie's played by the great Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Was this like?
This
This is quite a time after Star Wars, and this is the first film I've seen her other than that.
I mean that was what filmed in 75. This was 89, so yeah, nearly 15 years later.
Yeah.
But is that maths correct?
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
We're podcasters,
Yeah.
not mathematicians.
But yeah, it was nice to see her in something else. I'd
Yeah.
never seen her in
Good,
anything
good
aside.
actress as well.
Yeah, she is. I don't know. She wasn't given a great chance to show her comedic chops in this film. Like she kind of just was more someone to
The side
for
character
Sally
almost,
to
yeah.
bounce off of.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was nice seeing her, certainly. To go back to one of their phone conversations. Did you think like the split screen effect was really weird?
It definitely showed the film's age, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a really weird fade effect between the two of them.
I know it's supposed to be like a rom-com, but it's supposed to be funny. But the fact that they almost ask the same questions and reply at the same time is like, come on, you know. But I mean, no, I that's one of my favorite scenes in the film, just because it's just so strange.
It is really. I like seeing like the evolution of their friendship, and especially the scene where they're walking through the park and it's like the autumnal imagery, like with all the brown leaves. I think that's a really, really nice shot.
That was really nice.
Do you want to talk about the "I'll have what she's having" scene? Yeah. I was watching the film this morning. It's only maybe
That's them within the. That's them within the
it's maybe the second or third time that I've seen this film, and I was just watching this film with the door open and my mum rolls past while Meg Ryan's pretending to have an orgasm, and it was surreal.
I love the way Billy Crystal's like, no one's faked it with me, and then she's just like, hold my beer.
No, although it didn't make sense to me that she was like, ugh, man. Like, I don't think most men are that arrogant. I think he's like a special case.
He's probably a hyperbolized, image.
Yeah, he's meant to be
jock,
like gross man. Like the.
Then it's strange that they show him like evolving as sort of a mature character, but then underneath it he's still a bit of like a cocky jackass, But I guess that's part of his character, and Billy Crystal. I think he gives a good performance. I really like Billy Crystal.
But like they're adults, do you not think they should be able to recognize that their friendship was turning into romance? Like neither of them seem to notice until they have sex.
It did seem like it was inevitable, and then I guess when he comes over to console her, it's sort of
Yeah.
so that's the turning point almost, because they can't live without each other after that. After
like
that point.
at one point in the film, Harry gets kind of emotional and he yells at his friends, and she says something along the lines of, "You can't feel every emotion that you can't show every emotion that you have to everyone." But then in the next scene she's like forcing him to come over and console her, like after she's feeling emotional.
I guess though, if it happened in real life, I would understand if she was like looking for.
No, I understand that, but it seemed like she was being a bit hypocritical.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Do you think he took advantage of her in her emotional state? I
I don't know. I don't want to say took advantage because it sounds like a bit of bit of an intent there,
Yeah.
but
No, I don't mean it that way. I just mean, maybe he should have left and I don't know. I think the romance would have still happened.
you think
Yeah, because I think they still would have had that emotional
initial attraction? Yeah.
realization by the end of the film.
Yeah, it's definitely the turning point of the film for me, I think.
Just going through my notes. You can edit out just this 30 seconds. Yeah, like this film's kind of different in the after they sleep together, it's kind of the guy that shows more regret.
Yeah, I
Like-
guess they give more of an emotional side to his character.
Yeah, like I like how they get. Yeah, usually in a romance film, they give more time to one of the characters over the other. But this one's very balanced in comparison.
Yeah, it is. There's not actually many like there's plenty of scenes where they're not together, which I like as well. Because usually rom-coms, they're always together. But
Yeah.
this,
I mean, you have to develop the characters
Oh, yeah,
outside of the
100%,
romance,
100%.
and I think this does it very effectively.
Yeah, could agree more.
Did you think Sally acted very weird when he wanted to leave after having sex with her? Because, like, he's just like, I need to go to work, and she's like, you piece of shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that's kind
it's not really
of
in
an
her character
overreaction.
because she's always like very distant from him, I guess.
And
But
she-
then in
she's
this scene,
usually-
she's like she's craving him almost. But
And
then
she-
I guess because she's
yeah.
in an emotional vacuum and she's upset and stuff.
But that's the point. Like, you see after he leaves that she feels regret for having slept with him, but
Yeah.
then she's angry at him for wanting to leave. Like that seemed out of character because she seems like kind of a peppy optimist. Throughout the film, I don't know. It seemed like a weird
do you think
character choice.
the time jump is supposed to reflect how they change? Like at the start, Billy Crystal's Harry is very much hyperbolized jock in in American society, whereas Sally's more of like an optimist, as you said, and
Yeah.
then how they evolved. I don't necessarily say opposites, but then Sally's very much more, adhering to his needs, shall
Yeah.
we say?
I mean, I suppose, yeah, perhaps she was more like jaded by her relationship with
Yeah.
Joe, so she was maybe a bit more pessimistic and
and then
prone to feeling anger
Also,
towards
when
Harry.
Harry got divorced, it sort of the way he always said, oh, no woman has faked it with me. It sort of
Yeah.
suggests that he's not, perfect, and not every woman does want him,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
guess
that was a
a bit.
real arrogance, wasn't it?
Yes,
Like,
No,
I
he's
would
just
never
eating
say that
his
to a person.
no one's faked it with me.
I just want to say, before Jess and Marie's wedding,
Yeah.
when she's trying on a wedding dress, and Sally's like, it's beautiful. Like, is she lying or is she that dumb? Like, that's one of the most hideous dresses I've ever seen. In my
I guess
life.
because it's, Carrie Fisher,
Well, what does that mean?
I
Like,
don't know.
no, I mean, like, Sally says that too.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like, I can't believe that.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, Sally does make a lot of weird. Like the script's great.
Yeah.
Like, the script is probably the best thing I can praise the movie for. But then, I don't know whether it's line delivery or something on Meg Ryan's part.
I don't know. It's interesting, but there are some weird character choices they go with. Also, there's a scene where she's typing on a 1980s computer, and it looks so ridiculous, and that kind of makes me wonder about, like, in 20 years, just
It's not gonna age well.
no, like, is our technology gonna age well? Are people gonna be like, that laptop looks like
Well,
dog
we
shit?
all know in the Amazing Spider-Man when he's using Bing,
Oh,
it
yeah.
just doesn't age well.
To be fair, that wasn't even, like, appropriate at the time.
No, definitely not.
Do you find it weird that it's Harry that has to make all the apologies? Because there's kind of like this montage where he, sings to her and he apologizes and
And then
he's calling her every day.
Even by the end, it's him that declares his
Yeah,
love.
it's him that
Yeah.
makes the great romantic gesture.
Mm.
Do you find that odd?
I think it's, judging by the start of the film and his evolution, it seems out of character at the start, but then as he sort of evolves to become more, kind-hearted, it's in character. But it was certainly.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like they started off very different, and then kind of they meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Like she becomes more judgmental, he becomes less.
Yeah.
And then
I like that, but that's probably I already like that film.
that's quite a nice idea. Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the film, they sort of flash back to the beginning, which isn't really necessary in a 1.5 hour film. But yeah, I like the repeated dialogue. Kind of made the story come full circle, where it turns out Harry was kind of right.
Yeah, I guess. And the ending scenes, It's nice, you know, and they get together and New Year's Eve and stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice. And they get married 3 months later, do they? No.
Yeah, they say that in the interview. But because it's such a short film, like the kind of like classic rom-com conflict, which was, you know, them sleeping together and the resolution kind of happened in quite quick succession, because it's such a short film they have to resolve it very quickly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that seemed a bit odd.
Do you think this film's going to receive criticism, say 15 years time, about being cliche? About, you know,
Well, I mean,
it's probably...
It's 30 years old,
Yeah.
and it's still a classic in my opinion.
Yeah. But I mean, what I mean, like, it's a short film, you know, conflict in the middle, fine by the end, or do you think it's always going to be a main staple of classic good rom-coms?
Well, I mean, you know, it's not like it's just people who saw it in 1989 and still say that it's great. Like, we're teenagers and we're still able to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it'll stand the test of time.
Yeah, I hope it does, because the characters are great, the script's great, and it's just a generally funny film. Yeah.
What do you think of the soundtrack?
Soundtrack?
Wasn't really notable, was it?
No, like, oh, I want to listen to that or something afterwards, but I guess, you know, it's not a perfect film, but it's certainly not a bad film. Like, I really like it.
Yeah, you loved that diner scene, did you?
Oh, yeah.
It was it's too long.
It's
like, because my mom just rolled past and it was still going, like, by the time she was down the stairs, and I just wanted to run after her and be like, don't worry, it's a rom-com.
I love the way it's like a diner full with men as well. They all just like look around and he's just eating a sandwich. He's just like, are you okay?
So, how would you rate the film?
I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I really like it.
I think I'd give it a 9. Yeah. Like, I think it improves with the number of times you watch it.
Compared with other rom-coms we're going to talk about, it probably would rank second out of the...
It's probably my third out of the 4 that we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, Love Actually or Notting Hill?
Notting Hill is next.
Yeah.
So this was released in 1999 and directed by Roger Mitchell, although it was written by Richard Curtis, who is a rom-com legend. I don't know, well, we will definitely go on to discuss some of his directorial additions. This film is a very rare occurrence where I don't hate Julia Roberts.
I think
I've never liked her.
Why do people hate Julia Roberts?
Nobody
loves her.
No, everybody loves Julia Roberts.
Really?
I hate her.
Well, what else is she in?
Like,
she's in so much things I just forget.
Yeah, exactly. She's the kind of person where you see her in a lot of films, but she's so like I don't remember her or anything.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember her like of note is being in is Hook, which was you haven't seen it, Steven Spielberg film about Peter Pan.
I guess the reason why she's like you like her in this film compared to other films is because she's playing herself and she does that well almost, you know.
I suppose that is a fair point.
But no, I love this one.
I mean, yeah, she's kind of like playing a less annoying version of herself.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is quite an easy role for an actor to play an actress, you know.
Hugh Grant. Like, I didn't realise that this guy was such a hunk before this film. This guy is like...
I had written in my notes, Hugh Grant, charming? Like, he is though, isn't he?
He's a delight. Absolute
like,
delight.
I fully understand why she falls in love with him, but I don't really understand the other way around.
There is some parts in the film where, like, I question Anna Scott, is her name?
Yeah.
Like, her decisions and stuff, especially with the first kiss at the doorway.
Oh, we'll get on to all
that's
this.
so strange.
Yeah. Okay, so
you take us to the opening notes, buddy.
If you want to start, okay. I think the music is very good.
Yes.
But it's
better
very of its time, like it's very 80s.
Yeah.
But 90s, yeah.
90s, yeah.
But I really enjoy it. I mean, I downloaded some music after I heard it.
Did you?
Yeah, you know, it was fun. Do you remember Spike's t-shirts? When he's picking a t-shirt out for a date, and the one says like "I love you with all my heart," and then on the back, I cannot say what it says on the back, or Matthew will have to bleep it. But I thought that was a really good visual gag.
Yeah, you know the way is it Edgar? No, it's not Edgar Wright. Is it? He like what you know the director of Shaun of the Dead.
Edgar
Wright. You know the way his films are very critically acclaimed for being like visual comedies. This is definitely one of them. I know he didn't direct this, but you know, visual comedies and stuff like that.
I think that's more of a British trope where they focus on the impeccable visuals rather than
like. Speaking of the British setting, like I really love it because it feels like it's filmed in London. Like obviously it's filmed in London.
I mean, it's filmed in England. I don't know where specifically, but
I really like the British setting. It was filmed in Notting Hill. Like I researched and stuff, so it's you know accurate in that sense.
I mean, yeah, it does have a very British atmosphere. Do you agree that a travel bookshop is a really stupid idea? Like,
Yeah.
he's surprised that he's not getting good business, and I'm like, but he's like telling all his customers to piss off
because they're putting books down their trousers.
Although I hated that guy who was like, got any Dickens? Like, I wanted to slap that guy.
Yeah.
Did you think like his employee was a real ass licker as well?
Yes.
Like, he's like,
I can't do an impression of it.
here's a capu with some milk. Like, I was like, you're the worst.
Like, I know Hugh Grant's a good looking guy, but I mean, come on.
Do you think that guy fancied him?
I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, it's Hugh Grant.
I suppose that is a fair point.
No, I think the bookshop, it's got a nice atmosphere to it. You know, the guy.
Yeah, but
puts
it's a
book down his
terrible
trousers.
idea, isn't it?
It is. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they could have just said it was a normal bookshop.
Yeah.
But then.
We really should have said like spoilers for all these films.
I'll put a spoiler in the top.
Okay, great.
But.
In the description.
In the description.
Yeah, sure.
But so it's probably a bit late now if people are just watching this, then they're like, oh, maybe I should check the description. Oh, spoilers. No, but no, Hugh Grant's great in this film. Julia Roberts, not as good, but still good. Like, she's good, very talented actress in my opinion.
Do you agree? Like, it was a very early first kiss, wasn't it? Because usually like the first kiss is a big moment, but it kind of seemed like.
Well, I get. Do you think he left that? Do you think he left that bag in his apartment on purpose?
Oh, he was just. I mean, well, no, he seemed surprised that she came back.
Yeah, I guess.
But because he was just like whispering to himself on the other side of the door.
I don't get it. Like, it was her that initiated the kiss, and then in the scene later where he's interviewing her, she was like, just forget it.
We'll get on to it. She's the worst. Okay, so. Oh, that is my very next point. Did you think like the interviewing was a really awkward position for her to put him in?
Yeah, and then
because like she gave him no warning.
All their sort of it's not really security guards, is it? But like you know,
it sort of is. Yeah.
He's just like, time's up, buddy. You get everything you need. And then he's just like, yeah.
Horse and Hound magazine.
It was a very, and then for her to say, you know, oh, the kiss meant nothing. It was quite brutal.
Oh yeah, like she says a lot of things that are absolutely brutal, and that one was completely unnecessary because, you know, she blames like the media for her other decisions, but I don't think the media is anything to do with her being that brutal.
Well, yeah, she's a very like media oriented actress in the film, isn't she? You know, but
and then she immediately just like goes, "But I'll go out with you." Oh, okay. I wrote, and I quote, "Child actor seemed like such a bitch." It was the one in the interview, and he's like, "Is this your first film?" And she's like, "It's my 22nd." I was like, "You're the worst." Like, although obviously that was the actress doing a good job because I hated her.
Know her.
Yeah.
She knows you.
And then in the dinner scene,
is all his friends and stuff, and then is it his sister or something?
Yeah, like, his sister.
If you get married to him, we could be sisters.
Oh my god, she is terrifying.
I think she's a good actress though.
Yeah, but it seems like she's gonna murder that woman. But $15 million is what she got paid for her last film. Do you think actors are overpaid? This question written down.
Do you think that's supposed to be like an inside? It's not really an inside joke about like how much she got paid for that film. Like
it may well be, but. I don't think they get paid that well for romantic comedies, but Jesus, like getting paid that much for any film when you have the acting ability of Julia Roberts.
There's people who save lives and even get like 100th of that or anything.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I know like that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the film. The way like the guy's just like, oh, I did a few acting jobs. How much did you get paid for these acting gigs? $50 million. Oh. Okay.
Solid American accent there, my friend.
Thanks, dude.
Did you think like the kind of like sad case one-upmanship went a bit too far into the depressing side?
Yeah, I at the start. Is this for the brownies? Yeah.
Yeah.
At the start, I was just like, is she acting here or not? Is she like expecting people to be like feel sorry for her? Is she genuinely acting?
I mean, I think she was telling the truth.
Yeah, but then she played it off.
Yeah. But I thought for almost every character it leaned too far into the upsetting.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's the sarcastic British humor, and then there's kind of just, you know, kind of too dark almost. Like I think it leaned too far into the other direction. Did you think that the men in the restaurant who were like discussing the women were gross? Like that.
It's supposed to be though. I think it's supposed to be like hyperbolized.
Oh, it's definitely intentional, but I was just like, you guys are disgusting.
Yeah. Like, well, I don't really know. Some of the things they say is just like, you know.
Where do they reference Sally? They talk about Meg Ryan.
Oh yeah. But then I guess, you know, it seems It's like, does what's her name? Julia Roberts say like, your dicks are the size of peanuts or something. And there is a line something like that.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was very strange the way like Hugh Grant handled it. So he was like, stop it, and then he could have just like, turned back and she'd be there. But then, I guess it was just a weird scene, wasn't it? I just felt like a bit left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, it kind of seemed wedged between two things. Like they kind of like it didn't really serve to develop either of them. So yeah, it does kind of seem like a pointless scene. Although of course, then we have the revelation that she was cheating on her boyfriend.
I was like,
which instantly makes me dislike her.
I feel sorry for the boyfriend. Do we even see? I don't think we see him, do we?
Yeah, we do. Well, I mean, he's an asshole. Like it's Alec Baldwin. Can you adios these plates? Like he
I
seems
quite like Alec Baldwin. Though,
yeah, but like he seems like a dickhead. But I mean, no one deserves to get cheated on.
No.
Like yeah, I just had Matthew's opinion ?
But then also
written in my notes.
I don't know. It depends what you constitute as cheating.
Well, I mean, she was having like an exterior romantic relationship, and she had kissed him.
I was a couple of times. It was cheating. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But I suppose like Hugh Grant's a delight. But then obviously it doesn't excuse that she's cheating on Alec Baldwin.
Exactly. That's why she should recognize his value and be like, I don't need.
What would
to
you
have
do in
a
that
boyfriend.
situation if you were Julia Roberts?
I wouldn't have cheated on my boyfriend.
Yeah, but if let's say you had, and then you've had a, different opinion, different outlook on it, and you think, should I stay with Hugh Grant or?
Well, I mean, she doesn't even apologize to either of them, really. No. Like, I would have instantly apologized to Hugh Grant and instantly broken up with Alec Baldwin.
Stay with you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, clearly her relationship isn't happy with Alec Baldwin. I don't remember his name. No, like clearly she isn't happy, but I mean, it's not like he's like he doesn't seem emotionally manipulative or anything. He just seems like a bit of a dick. So I think she could have broken up with him.
I guess the movie sort of presents it as like she needs a break from him, and then she'd like go to the bookstore. But I don't know if that excuses that or not.
Oh, I don't think it excuses it. No. Weird point, but. You know when Will is going to see her film Helix, I've never seen a cinema with a balcony.
No, well, I guess it was a cinema, it wasn't a theater or anything. No, it was a
well,
cinema.
it looked like an opera theater, but it had like a cinema screen.
I was just waiting for the the binoculars, just like do.
People are not gonna get that reference.
Spider-Man
3 reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a. So sometimes I note down some dialogue, and there was one truly masterful piece of dialogue when Hugh Grant is on a date and a woman says, "I'm a fruitarian," because she thinks that fruit and vegetables have feelings.
He just looks at her, just like
he's like, what? These carrots, they've been murdered. They've been murdered.
That was a solid English accent there.
Yeah, just that made me cringe. I mean, that's obviously on purpose. Like she's meant to be like. A character that you roll your eyes at.
How do you feel like they find each other in the end again? Julia Roberts, Anna and Will. Like, do you like that, or would you be happy if they went their separate ways? Because obviously, it's in my opinion, a relationship with that wouldn't work out. Because she'd be
Oh yeah, I definitely don't think it would work out. They're from completely different worlds, but I love me a happy ending.
Yeah.
So.
And then the fact that
it was nice to see
she's
them
pregnant at the end. Isn't she?
Or
it's implied.
It's implied, yeah. But you don't see like a pregnancy bump or anything. No. There's kids running about in the garden that they've broken into. I looked this up online. It was apparently the same community garden that they broke into earlier in the film.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
that's a nice callback, I guess.
Yeah, that is a nice callback. I hadn't realised that at the moment. I'm surprised that after she cheated on her boyfriend with him, that Will forgives her though. Like, I don't think she deserved forgiveness for that.
I guess it's just in his nature. Like, he's presented as a really kind, warm-hearted guy. So
I suppose.
It's in his character to forgive her.
But, like, I think the subtitle for this film could be, like, a series of forgivenesses.
Like, yeah, I think the film probably would have worked better as, like, the theme of forgiveness.
But it seems weird because there's, like, 3 different times where Julia Roberts does something and then she has to ask for his forgiveness and he just gives it. Yeah. I mean, except for the last one where he's kind of, like, tentative and then eventually realizes his feelings.
I really like that scene where he says, I ended it with her and stuff, and then his mate's just like, you stupid prick. You're like, this head,
you daft prick. Like, that is such a good line. I had that down to mention. But just going back to after he forgives her the first time, when Spike walks in on her in the bath, that just made me think, why does no one ever lock their bathroom door in films? Like, it just seems like they want to be seen in the bath, like, because she was kind of like flirtatious as well. She was like, ooh,
I can leave the door unlocked.
Spike. Yeah, like, yeah. Like, I respect, oh no, like, I just wanted to mention, there was a really weird scene where she's like, you got big feet. Big feet, large shoes? Like, it's such a weird scene.
Oh, yeah.
Did you not understand that joke?
No, I get it. No, I forgot
Okay.
that. No, that's fine.
Yeah. I kind of respect that they didn't show, like, a sex scene, like, it wasn't necessary to show that they were affectionate towards each other.
Yeah, because from what the film presents, it is sort of it's not a distant relationship, but
Yeah.
it is sort of, because whereas compared to When Harry Met Sally, you know, when they obviously find each other, it's quite intimate, especially in the middle part, but then here, like, there's not a lot of, I wouldn't even say there's a lot of kissing scenes even, you know?
Yeah, I'd say this...
Which is a good thing, like, it's not a bad thing.
But somehow this film is so much longer than When Harry Met Sally, but it takes less time to develop the romance.
Yeah.
Like, I think they maybe spent too much time showing like, Will's, you know, other life.
Dating life and stuff.
Well, yeah, his dating life and his life with his friends. Like, where I was saying with Harry Met Sally, you know, there's no one main character. Like, he is without doubt the main character. You know, you see his outside life, you don't really see hers. You know, it's just what she gives through exposition, and what she says, like, you kind of just roll in your eyes like, sure, okay. Do you think she really overreacted to the paparazzi when, like, they arrived at the door?
Yeah, you talking about the ending bit?
No, like, the bit where this is the trope of the rom-com with the conflict in the relationship, where
okay, right, yeah.
they first really break up after they've had sex for the first time. I think she definitely overreacted.
I guess because... Yeah, probably.
Because, I mean, like, even Will recognizes that, you know, he says this is crazy behavior, which I totally agree with.
Like, even in her character, like, she seems like she shouldn't be threatened by the media. I mean, she's getting $15 million, you know.
Yeah.
But then she's...
I mean, that was right
taken
after...
aback from it.
I mean, like, that was right after her, like, naked pics had been released.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, you know, I think it was wrong to blame him.
Did Will tell Spike, and then Spike told the media?
Well, he didn't tell Spike. Spike rolled in on her in the bath.
Oh, well,
you know, so, like, he didn't really need to be told.
Yeah. Then he leaked it, I guess.
Well, I mean, like, so what, you know?
I guess it is a breach of trust, though.
I don't think so. I think it's her fault, absolutely. I mean, you shouldn't go into someone else's house and expect, like, anonymity.
Especially when you're leaving the door unlocked as well.
Yeah. I thought, you know, the scene where Will, like, walks throughout the seasons?
Yeah.
I thought that was
beautiful
really well directed, except for the fact that that means that he's just wearing that same suit every day. for like a year, you know, he's just rolling past every season.
It's like, you know, the way with when Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, the time jumps are very clear.
Time jumps are very clear, and even when there is time jumps, the grainy quality of, like, the 1988 camera. You know, the way, like, you can tell something's filmed in 1988 because the camera's a bit grainy. Where here you should, like, because the camera's more clear, the shots are nicer, especially when he's walking through the seasons, which is I like that.
I mean, I don't think anything in any four of these movies, like, scenery-wise, matches up to that one, like, autumnal shot in When Harry Met Sally. Like, I think that's one of the best looking scenes ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one that was used on all the posters. Do you think Spike and Honey's romance... Well, I've written that it literally comes out of nowhere. It does.
It does.
But,
yeah.
I mean, they're both weirdos. Like, I support it.
I like it because it sort of mirrors the fact that Will and Anna's romance come out of nowhere as well.
I suppose, yeah, it's just random chance that they find a connection.
What is your opinion? You know, the way with rom-coms, especially with When Harry Met Sally and Notting Hill, there's always like a side romance.
Yeah.
I quite like that about rom-coms. Not all rom-coms have it, but
yeah,
it's a nice trope.
I mean, I think if your movie's long enough, yeah, sure, go ahead. I mean, it definitely doesn't need as much development as the other one, but I would have liked a bit more development here. Yeah. You know, I mean, they didn't have any scenes together before she, like, proposes to him. Like, the first scene they're in together, she, like, proposes to him. So I would have liked maybe one more scene to develop that they had a connection.
I do like before that the way they bring in the media at the end when Will says to her, I'll take you back.
Yeah.
Stuff. I like that. I like that.
I'd just like to ask you. I will read the line out verbatim. I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her. Fucking hell, Matthew. Whoops.
We'll leave it in.
Do not leave it in. I've written shit ?
That's like no, but I was like looking at this film on Wikipedia. That's like one of the most famous lines in rom-com in general.
Oh, it's probably the most unanimously known lines in all rom-com history, I would say.
I think it's a cringy line.
Everyone these days slates it.
I think it's a nice line.
I didn't realize it was cringy until this second watch. Like the first time I watched it, I was just like, "Oh, how sweet."
It is this
one I was just like, "Oh, okay."
It's a bit jarring, I guess, when it's a very innocent line. It's a very sort of charming line, but then it's in contrast with her character because she's cheated on someone.
Yeah, she's trying to be like a strong, confident woman for the media, and then she kind of like infantilizes herself. Mm-hmm. Like it seems kind of weird, like calling herself like a child.
But I think it's a really sweet line. I really do like it.
Yeah. Do you think he was right to turn her down in the bookshop? I think so. I mean, she, I mean,
it's certainly within his right to do so. Whether it's the right decision, I'm not sure.
I mean, she, rebuffed him twice. So I think he was.
But I like the way
fully in his right to do that.
Sort of reconciles and she confesses her love to him, but then he turns her down.
That's kind of like a fresh take on kind of like the romantic gesture. Because I mean. I suppose, I said there's that he's more the main character, but I suppose both of them get to make grand romantic gestures, which isn't typical. Either it's kind of like them both at the same time, or it's the man or it's the woman, but here, like, in two separate scenes, they both got to make one, which
do you
I thought was a cool
Will's
idea.
tight group of friends?
For the most part.
A few of them are Doctor Who actors as well.
Oh yeah, there was Hugh Bonneville, and I didn't recognise any of the others.
There was definitely one other, but I can't remember. But no, I quite like them. I like the way he's like, how fast is your car? And he's just like bolts out of the restaurant. No, but I really like that.
Yeah. I have written, you daft prick. How do you feel about big romantic gestures in real life? Would you be a fan of those?
Like, done to me?
Or vice versa?
I don't know, it depends. If you're really confident that they're going to accept it, but it'd be so embarrassing if you're like, I'll be the boy, you be the girl, confess your love for me or something like that.
I mean, we'll talk about Love Actually in a few minutes.
I don't actually have a lot to say about Love Actually.
I have notes, but in general, like...
I think in movies it works, obviously it's less realistic, but it works better in movies than it does.
Well, I mean, like, it's not like there's tunes blasting as you, like, run down the street. We forgot to mention, like, in Harry Met Sally, like, Harry's, like, weird goose run on the way back to meet Sally.
What do you feel about romantic gestures, buddy?
I think I would be too nervous to perform one. And
what is a romantic gesture at the end of the day?
And I would be very awkward receiving one. Well, like, if someone just, like, got up in front of you and started to, like, sing to you, like, serenade you, like, would you'd just be sitting there, like, twiddling your thumbs, like, what do I do?
Yeah, it's like I've never like went to a concert or anything, so I don't really know how to respond to people singing to me. But I guess I'd accept it.
Do you think at a concert, like, someone points at you and starts singing like?
I don't know. I haven't been to one. Just imagine like the Beatles just like singing along with it. But no,
they're singing Eleanor Rigby, but they've replaced it with Matthew.
Yeah. No, I think romantic gestures, and especially in this movie, it's very sweet.
Yeah. I just wanted to wrap up. We've really mentioned it, but yeah, I do love a happy ending, and it was nice to see their wedding.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah, I don't think they're a great match. Like, I didn't find the romance that convincing.
In real life, I don't think. I'm not saying it wouldn't work out, because I'm sure there's plenty of romances in there like that, But generally speaking, I don't think it would work, just because she's a famous actress and stuff. And it's not just that guys are going to be hitting on her all the time as well.
Oh yeah.
But as shown by the restaurant scene.
Yeah.
But also the fact that she'll be away from him and all, it'll be a long distance thing.
I mean, I think opposites attract, but I think they're too different. I mean, you never really see them connect on anything. I mean, she likes travel books, and that seems to be a great sticking point.
They both like not having coffee on their shirts, so, you know.
It was orange juice, mate.
It was orange juice?
It was
coffee.
Juice.
But it was in like a polystyrene cup, though.
Yeah, do you not remember like the creepy ass liquor being like, should we treat ourselves to some orange juice?
Yeah, I guess.
That was hilarious. Yeah, overall I do really like this film. It's definitely amongst my favorites. You'd never seen this before. You'd never seen When Harry Met Sally.
First time was yesterday. I'd give it a 9.
I'd probably give it a 9 as well. Yeah, I think Hugh Grant really carries it. Like I think it would be less so if it was anyone else.
I just think the time period between 2000 and 2004 is like cinematic gold. Like there's not.
This was 1999.
Well, 1999 to 2004.
Okay.
It's because I get X-Men confused because they did
Okay,
1999 2000. But 1999 2004 cinematic gold. Like there's loads of films in that time period I just love, especially, and then this is just added to the list, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Did you want to move on to Love Actually?
Yeah, I actually don't have a lot to say about Love Actually. Just because there is so many talking points about Love Actually because there's so many couples.
Yeah, so I thought we would instead of going chronologically through the film, we would talk about the matches.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This is certainly one of the films where I was on my phone a lot because it is it's that sort of film for me.
That's the thing, because I'm such a fan of film, and like I would call myself a film connoisseur, but even I get really distracted during films. So unless I'm in the cinema, I just go on my phone throughout the film, especially if it's one that I've seen before. So I was really surprised that I was really gripped by Notting Hill, About Time, and When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
Like in recent years, I haven't been able to just sit down and watch a film, but all three of those, I was gripped throughout.
Yeah.
But this one I didn't watch specifically for this review. I watched it probably around it's kind of sad because I just watch rom-coms alone. Did you watch any of these with your family? No, but like it is kind of like a sad thing because I was gonna put on Snapchat that I was like watching one of these and then I was just like, oh god, I'm alone.
People say that like watching rom-coms is a good way to like get out there and stuff, you know, inspiration.
Is it?
Yeah, like for dark Kindle relationships and stuff.
I suppose. Yeah, so we can just launch into Love Actually then. So
Are we doing couples or chronological?
well, I just want to say, released 2003, directed by Richard Curtis, the master.
What else has he
The
done?
genius. Well, he wrote Notting Hill and he directed About Time,
Ugh.
which we're going
Need
to
we
talk
say
about.
more?
So this film, I've defined this as what I think a really great subtitle for it would be is a series of stalkers. Because we'll get into them.
A lot of stalkers, and also a lot of like breakout stars in this film. This film was a lot of breakout stars. Keira Knightley, Colin Firth was famous probably before this, but
a lot of them were famous beforehand. Like it's quite a small film. I mean, for a rom-com, it has quite a large scale. I mean, there's like huge name talent.
This is a British film, right?
Oh yeah.
British talent. Rowan Atkinson as well.
Oh yeah.
That's a brief cameo, though, isn't it?
We'll get into it, my friend. So, do you want to start with Billy Mack, who is Bill Nighy, one of my favourite British actors. I 100% thought that him and his manager were going to be gay by the end.
Yeah, but like, because they're in their office all the time.
Yeah, and then in the final scene that he's in, he, hugs him and says, I love you, which, yeah, like, in that moment, I felt like, the platonic relationship, but I did think, I thought for a split second, like, they're gay, and I supported it.
Yeah.
Because I love Bill Nighy so much.
Very talented actor, so.
Yeah.
He's not in a lot these days, though, is he? Really?
Well, he's a big Richard Curtis actor. He acts in a lot of his films.
Richard Curtis do a lot? Does he do a lot of films now?
I mean, from time to time, I mean, he's obviously made some of the biggest hitters when it comes to romantic comedies, and Notting Hill was only his second written film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a home run. I'm surprised that it was only a second. He'd only done 4 weddings and a funeral before that. But for this film, it was nice to see Bill Nighy. He was recently in Detective Pikachu.
He has quite a lot of screen time as well.
In this film?
Yeah, well, more than I thought.
Yeah, because he ends up being such a small character. He's one of the only ones that doesn't really cross over with the other characters. Yeah. Obviously every story is interlinked, basically, except for his. They just see him on TV.
Hugh Grant's also in this film, isn't he? Is the premise.
Oh yeah, we can talk about them next. Yeah, so him and I apologize. I have so many notes.
Is he supposed to be Tony Blair, or is he supposed to be like just a offshoot prime minister created for this?
Oh well, I mean, he was created for this, but I do think
He looks a little bit like Tony Blair.
I think he is a bit of a Tony Blair, yeah, parody ish. Do you not think like if Hugh Grant is Emma Thompson's brother, that she would be like questioned by the media a lot if he's like the new prime minister? Like, you know, it's meant to be like a surprise reveal that she's like his sister, but then you would think that as the prime minister's sister, she's being like hounded by the media.
Yeah, you'd think that'd be sort of common knowledge that they're brother and sister, like especially to the media.
Yeah. Like you, yeah. Do you not think so?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I understand why they did it as to ensure all the character plots were interlinked, but no, I would agree with you on that one. It's strange.
Yeah. One line that struck me, just like I just thought, wow, this person's a judgmental bitch, was when the woman says she has thighs like tree trunks. I was just
brutal.
I was like, my god, she's fine. Like, chill out, bitch.
What's wrong with like tree trunk looking thighs? They weren't even look like tree.
No, they didn't. But like, that woman was awful. Like, I hated that woman. I've seen her in other things. Like, she's a good actress, but like in this, just awful. I thought he was quite an inconsiderate brother to Emma Thompson.
Is it
her name's Karen?
Yeah. Who's the guy that like at the start? He's just like, I'm the god of sex or something.
Is that not Bill Nye?
No, it's not Bill Nye. It's a blonde guy, sort of.
I'm the god of sex.
Yeah, that's definitely a line, I think.
I don't remember who that is.
Okay, I'll edit this out if I don't find it when I'm editing it. But,
oh, you're just gonna put like a little asterisk and then whoever. Are you sure it isn't Bill Nye?
I don't think it's Bill Nye. I'll
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, we'll just edit this out.
YouTube. Just said if someone sees my search history, I've just typed in God of Sex.
No, I mean just cut this out.
Okay, hang on.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Colin. It's Colin.
Click on him.
Definitely Colin.
Oh, I thought you meant Colin Firth.
No.
Oh, I was so confused.
No.
Okay, yeah, if we cut this part out, we'll talk about him. We'll talk about him because he's like,
Colin?
he's my. Oh, it doesn't matter. Like he's like one of my last points. But we can talk about him. Okay, so you're just gonna cut that 2 minutes out. Okay. From the first part that you said about being a god of sex. Plus he's ginger. You said blonde.
It's blondie ginger.
Okay.
Strawberry blonde.
But do you think that he's an inconsiderate brother? Because he lies to Karen and says like, oh yeah, I'm here for your kids. I'm not here to make out with my caterer. You know.
No, yeah.
I'm not a weirdo.
No, a lot of men probably think with their penis.
Yeah. No, like she's like, oh my god, you came to the Christmas pageant. He's like, yep.
Totally the main reason.
Yeah. Did you not think kind of like the kiss scene where everyone claps? It's kind of like weirdly American. Because
what the fact that people are clapping, or
in almost every other regard, this film's very British, but that just felt like a very American trope.
It reminded me with like some people who clap when the plane lands. my mum used to do that.
Your mum used to do that?
She used to like stand. Well, she didn't used to stand up, but like just be like, bravo.
I mean, you've survived. Potentially deadly crash. I get it in some ways.
Like, imagine like people clapping a taxi driver. Excellent job. 5 minutes early.
That's pretty much all I have to say for David and Natalie. What did you think of Juliet, Peter, and Mark?
Is that Keira Knightley and then best man and husband?
Chiwetel Ejiofor and
he's
excellent.
What a great actor! What a fantastic actor.
Andrew Lincoln is Mark.
I was actually like wanting the best man. Do you know?
Oh.
Start a relationship with her.
Oh wow. Okay, we'll talk about this. Mark is an absolute stalker. He's such a creep.
We can talk about the scene. We can talk about it later. But you know the way like he knocks on the door and like. It's just like.
But. I mean, like, why is he such a dick to her? Because he says, "Oh, it's out of self-preservation." But I mean, you can just be neutral to her.
Yeah, I know, and it's the husband's best man as well.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, show her like a huge amount of affection and hug her, but I mean, be nice to her. Yeah. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I fancy her, so I have to be an absolute asshole.
What do you think about Keira Knightley's character, like kissing him?
Oh,
out of character or completely unforgivable?
You don't really see enough of her to deem it out of character, I think. But yeah, unforgivable. I mean, that is cheating, 100%.
I don't know if it's unforgivable for me But it's definitely cheating.
Yeah, it's definitely cheating. I think it's especially worse because, I mean, she's like newly married.
Yeah.
And she doesn't mention it to the husband.
And it was quite creepy the way it's like, what's the guy who plays Baron Mordo?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
Okay,
we'll call him.
His name's Peter in the film, so
we'll call him Pete. You know when Pete's like, who is it? Then the best man just like, tell him it's Christmas Kill Singers or something.
It's Carol Singers. Like, yeah, that's funny.
There's a massive spike in all.
Yeah. I've written cue card scene, sweet or creepy?
I think it's sweet. Like, I think it's.
You
I
do?
think it's sweet, yeah.
Is it sweet to go hit on a married lady?
I don't know why. Like, why did he have to have like Christmas, like, no, it wasn't Christmas. It was Christmas music and then like cards, because he could have just whispered to her, or like, can I speak to you outside or something?
Maybe give her a phone call.
Maybe give her a phone. Like,
yeah,
why
don't
like,
be a.
It seems even more suspicious that like she's standing out, like she's opened the door silently and just hasn't closed the door for ages.
Well, I mean, that was the point of the Carol Singers thing. That's
yeah,
why
no, but it would have felt weird to me that Peter wouldn't have questioned that, to think.
Yeah.
Why is she?
Also, this is 2003. That audio was not convincing. Like, that was very clearly played from like a cassette.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel bad because Peter seemed like a really nice guy.
I just think because he's a very likable actor as well.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if he was able to hit on her after she was married, he would have been able to hit on her before she was married, which would have been, the far better option.
Yeah, Peter doesn't know that his best man likes her.
No,
he doesn't know.
I mean, like, I like big romantic gestures in films, but this one is like, it's disgraceful. I do not support it at all.
Do you want to talk about Bill Nye? Oh, it's not. Is it Bill Nye in the gift wrap?
No, that's Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson. No.
Oh, yes, we can do that now. So
one of my probably favourite scene in the film.
This is with Harry, Karen, and Mia. This is Alan Rickman who you were thinking of.
Okay, sorry.
I never thought I could dislike Alan Rickman, but he's a real piece of shit in this film.
Yeah, I guess if you're definitely it's not in every scene with Rowan Atkinson, but when you place him in a scene with Rowan Atkinson, and Rowan Atkinson is such a delight, it sort of lessens sort of your likability, because Rowan Atkinson's, I think.
Oh, I mean more the fact that he was going to cheat on his wife.
Yeah, at Christmas.
Were you on your phone at this part?
Probably, yes.
No, but yeah, the gift wrapping scene is. I wrote funny or irritating because I think people go either way.
It goes a bit long. It goes on for a bit long.
It does go on for a bit long, and I was like, maybe you don't need to put it in a bag, mate.
I think Rowan Atkinson, along with probably Gervais and Stephen Merchant.
Yeah.
Best British actor ever.
Really?
Yeah, those top three for me. Atkinson, Gervais, Merchant.
I've only seen Rowan Atkinson in this, Scooby-Doo, 2002, and Mr. Bean, and I've always hated Mr. Bean, so I don't really have a hugely high opinion of him, but the scene was. That's another kind of like visually comedic gag.
He's like going like this here with like different lavender things as well.
Again, audio medium.
Audio medium.
But yes, it was sort of a ritualistic dance where he's sniffing cinnamon sticks. Yeah, it is a good scene. Why does he like, his assist? Like, wait, were you paying attention to this part of the film? No,
almost certainly
He
not.
shook his head.
No, well, as soon as Colin Firth, the proposal bit, I was like, I'm hooked on Colin Firth. That's it.
All right, so basically, Alan Rickman's employee is in love with him, and she's sort of being quite promiscuous. She's flirting with him, and he's not rebuffing her. So she's kind of being very flirtatious, and he's kind of contemplating cheating on his wife. And then when he goes to the scene with Rowan Atkinson, that's him buying her a Christmas present. So he buys her like a really expensive gold necklace.
Is he buying that as do you think he's buying that as an excuse to say, look, I bought you this, now I'm gonna cheat on you now?
No, he's buying that for the employee.
He's not buying that for his wife.
No, he's like buying that as like a sexy gift for his sugar baby. Like he's like, because he's planning on cheating on his wife.
Right.
So he's a terrible person.
Yeah, that was his. But I always thought of. So I was.
Were you confused by that?
I was confused. I was like, what? Like, why is he terrible? I guess why he's telling him to hurry up because he wants it to be a surprise. But then I guess the element of it, because he obviously wants to start a relationship with this employee, it does make sense for him.
Yeah, he's rushing Rowan Atkinson because he doesn't want to be caught in the act of buying a gift for his potential mistress. But it's a really awful moment when he gives. I mean, you wouldn't have understood the impact, but when he gives his wife the CD. because she sees the necklace in his pocket and then thinks it's for her. That's maybe why he got confused.
Yeah.
Because she thinks, oh, he's got me a wonderful gift, and then it's a Joni
I- if
Mitchell
I,
CD.
Probably if I would have watched this scene in more detail, that would probably be quite heartbreaking.
Oh, it's quite poignant, yeah. Like, you know, you just see her, especially when she, you know, leaves the room very, you know,
Suddenly.
politely and properly, and then she goes into the other scene and just breaks down crying.
Mm.
Like, I'd say that is probably the
Does
most...
she know that he's planning to cheat on her?
Well, I mean, she's seen a very expensive necklace, thinking it's for her, and then she knows that he's given it to someone else.
Yeah.
So that would be quite heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the most emotionally heartbreaking scene of the film. And she even says, you know, that he's made a mockery of their marriage, and I agree.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a really awful thing to do to a person.
Yeah. It's sort of, this does sort of like teeter on the edge of, is it a rom-com or not?
Yeah, no, because by the end, when you see them at the airport together, she clearly hasn't forgiven him, which is very odd for a rom-com, but I was happy they went with that. And,
Outside
you know,
the box and stuff.
Yeah, like, she wasn't just a passive person who forgave him instantly. Like, you know, I'm glad to see that, you know, maybe they're working on their marriage, or she isn't going to forgive him. You know, I think that's a better outlook on what happened.
With Colin Firth's character, I think I'm not sure that I'm getting confused with films. Obviously, he ends up proposing to a woman who doesn't fully understand English or whatever.
Yeah.
But then his original relationship that doesn't work out, is that also with a Spanish woman or something? No, it's not.
Do you mean his wife?
Yeah, his wife that
She cheats on him with his brother.
Yeah, it's like that. She wasn't like Spanish or anything, was she?
No.
I don't know where I'm getting this from.
Did I write notes on this? Yeah, I did. Well, I wrote. My first question was, who would cheat on Colin Firth?
It's an absolute delight.
He's a babe.
He is a babe.
Like, he's one of the most charming British men.
That just doesn't age.
Yeah, and like his brother looked like a rat in comparison. So like,
I do like.
I was just like, bitch, you crazy? Like,
why is it everyone's cheating at Christmas? That's
yeah,
real
exactly.
thing to do.
Like, well, I mean, not all of it is set at Christmas. It's kind of like Christmas ends up like it's meant to be a Christmas film, but in the end, Christmas ends up being kind of like irrelevant. It's kind of just
I like that though.
a reason to stick a Christmas tree in the background.
Yeah. There is a lot of Christmas films that are like that. Like Iron Man 3 is a Christmas film, but it's not a Christmas film. Like, it probably doesn't make sense, but yeah.
Do you want to talk about his name's Jamie, and his relationship with Aurelia?
I think it's really sweet.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, because I understand the attraction, but I feel like the language barrier is enough to...
No, but that's what I like about it, like the contrast that they don't fully understand each other, but then they let put their differences aside and like accept each other and love each other.
But
I really like that.
do you think you could fall in love with someone that you can't understand?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think I could. Like, I think I need the medium of speech.
I guess.
You know, I don't think I'd be able to
for me, actions speak louder than words. So I think you know, if she's treating him well and you know accepting him, I think that's a nice thing.
Although I think he only really fell in love with her because he thought she was like, thought his book was really important when she jumped into the lake, and she's just like, this better not be shit.
Yeah.
That was a very good use of like irony where neither knows what's happening, like what the other one is saying. Like I thought that was very smart. I don't think any sane person would have accepted his proposal though.
In a crowd of people as well. That's strange.
I mean, this film is like a series of big romantic gestures as well. Like it
gets a bit repetitive, I think.
Well, yeah, because it kind of squeezes a few too many together. I mean, I suppose.
See, when it gets to Liam Neeson's character, I was just like, what is going on?
I think you could. I mean, there's about 9 different stories going on. I think you could have trimmed out 3 or 4, and it would have been a tighter, better film. The
ones that I would have kept are definitely Firth.
We can go through.
Well, we can go through that then.
But yeah, I don't think any normal person would have accepted his proposal because, I mean, maybe finding each other attractive I would understand, and maybe you've both learned each other's respective language. Maybe you can go on a few dates.
Like he's not very good at Spanish, so
that's good. But I was just like, I mean, go on a couple dates. Like, don't be like, I know some words of your language. Let's do this.
That is,
let's get
I guess
married.
that's an issue I have with Notting Hill, that they get like, obviously, you know, people can get married whenever they want, but for me, it's like if you have that instant connection and stuff, then of course get married when you feel it's right. But
Yeah.
especially for Notting Hill, like 3 months. Like I think you need to be living
Do you
with
mean
some.
when
Or sorry,
Herman
when Hannah Sally.
Well,
For 3
that's
months.
understandable. I don't
Like,
think...
no, I mean like, because obviously they've known each other a long time and
Yeah.
stuff. But I mean in general, like you know the way with Notting Hill they get married and stuff. I
Well,
was like that's quite rushed.
It doesn't show the time. Like they never show time jumps by saying like 5 years.
I just
later.
assumed it
So,
was like pretty instant.
Really?
Yeah.
I assumed it was maybe a year.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, they blast through like several months in like 30 seconds. With
Is that an issue you have with Love Actually? The fact that Colin Firth gets married really quickly to this woman.
That's my issue with a lot of things. I've had discussions with this in the past with teachers even.
Mm-hmm. Miss Fitzsimons.
No.
Miss McKeown.
No, it was Mr. Young.
Mr. Young.
Cut this out because we're not meant to mention people.
I'll bleep it out. And then it'll...
You're not going to be able to bleep. Just cut it, okay?
Okay.
But
tell me the story.
Yes, with a teacher before who was our English teacher.
We shall not mention the name.
We shall not mention the name.
We'll call him...
No, just our English teacher. We were learning about The Tempest, and in that play, there's very rushed romance. You know, it's literally love at first sight.
Ferdinand and Miranda.
Yeah, and I've always had a problem with the concept of love at first sight, and I said to him that, you know, isn't this a bit ridiculous? You know, they meet once and then he proposes. I still find that ridiculous. And he said, "Oh well, you believe in your silly little superhero films," and I was like, "Yeah, but there's like suspension of disbelief when it comes to science fiction, and then when it comes to romance, I'm not willing to suspend my disbelief that far." And yeah, that was an issue I had with a few cases of romance in Love Actually.
I would agree with you. I don't think love at first sight, from me anyway, and this is no way, you know, universal. It is subjective. In my opinion, I don't think it exists. You can definitely have that initial attraction to someone when you see them, but I think you need to connect with them on an emotional level and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you can just look at a person and say I'm in love with them, you're probably quite shallow, because you're literally defining what, you know,
whether you'll spend the rest of your life with them
based on how attractive they are. And I mean, it's not shallow to be attracted to someone, but I think you can't have a proper connection or romance if you know, haven't spoken to them. Like, for me, it's definitely not a thing that I would agree with.
The thing I like about like Love Actually though, especially with Colin Firth's character, it sort of suggests that not all romances are meant to be, especially with his wife, and how like this goes for anything, you know, even with Keira Knightley's character, like her marriage wasn't even meant to be. It's hinted at with the best man and her sort of kindling romance even.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do like about the film. It is realistic in that sense, and then in other ways it just blows that realism out the window.
Yeah. So do you want to go on to talk about Liam Neeson?
I honestly have nothing to say because I was literally
Really?
I don't even think I don't remember any scenes with him. I'll be honest. I mean,
it's kind of...
Is this with Emma Thompson?
No, this is him and his stepson Sam.
Okay.
So he's Daniel. Like I wish you'd paid more attention to it, because I find that their like father-son relationship is actually the most believable relationship in the whole film.
Talk us through it.
Because I mean, it's not romantic, obviously, obviously.
Come here, Sam.
But oh god. But you know, Liam Neeson's character Daniel has just lost his wife, so he's left to raise his stepson Sam. And you know,
quite a common trope in movies.
You think so?
Yeah.
I haven't really seen I don't think the like stepfather-stepson dynamic is explored very often.
Maybe not stepfather-stepson, but father-son dynamic's definitely a common thing I've noticed.
But I thought it was a really sweet relationship.
Like, regardless of criticisms Liam Neeson has faced in the past, I think
oh god,
I think he's especially this year, I think he's a really talented actor. I'm not just saying this because he's from Northern Ireland or anything, like, but I just really like him.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the rest of the romantic relationships in the film are obviously had by adults, so I thought it was nice to see a child's perspective from Sam's point of view.
It's quite sweet, I guess.
Yeah, and
innocent. And...
Yeah, and speaking of kind of, you know, American tropes, I thought the airport run is one moment that I don't appreciate. You know where he races to see Joanna, his American crush.
Oh, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you not paying attention at all?
Not really.
No, not really. I don't blame you that much. Like, I chose the 4 films that we're talking about today
3 for me.
Yeah, 3 for Matthew. We'll get onto that.
I've discussed it, Cal.
But-
I've let you down.
But
Let the podcast down.
But these were initially
Right.
my 4 favorite rom-coms, but yeah, Love Actually doesn't age as well as I'd like it to.
I think it's fun. I think
Yeah,
I really like
it's
it.
still a fun time.
I don't know if it'll age well though.
Yeah, but what do you think of like the airport run trope? You know, where
Like,
catch up
music in the
catch up to
background?
them at the airport. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's. I guess it's nice because that's his teen crush and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a child, as you say, child's perspective. It's a fresh outlook in the film, especially within the adult relationship.
Yeah.
I think it adds another, like, level to the film.
Yeah. Also, there's a moment where Sam, wanting to catch up with Joanna, he has to like evade security, and Rowan Atkinson is at the airport, and he stops security by being a bit of a nuisance. And that was actually written into the script as a concept that he was a Christmas angel.
What?
In the original script, Rufus, who he plays, is a Christmas angel, and he's kind of influencing the events of like the bigger events of the film.
I would quite like that.
I think
That's true.
I think that's a way better idea. Like I think that's such a
Like-
good dynamic to add to the film.
Like he's sort of like,
He's kind of orchestrating events
I
to
quite-
make sure everyone finds love.
that's really nice.
Yeah,
That's really
like
sweet.
he's kind of rushing Alan Rickman so that his wife will discover the necklace and he won't be able to cheat on his wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that adds like a real depth to the film.
It does, but then I guess it would leave plot holes, as in why is he letting Keira Knightley cheat on her husband?
Yeah, I suppose, but I mean that's sort of like new love, but yeah, I mean it's not the best, is it?
Do you have any concluding thoughts?
Oh well, I just have. There's 3 more couples
Okay, yeah, okay.
that are left. John and Judy. So that's this is probably another one you weren't paying attention to.
Almost
It
certainly.
was Joanna Page and Martin Freeman.
Yeah, I lost seriously.
Yeah.
seriously.
Okay, so they're
Love
por-
Martin Freeman.
they're porn film stand-ins. So like they're having like simulated like fake sex
Okay.
on set, and they're like really confident.
Right.
But then when they're offset, like they're both kind of shy, and like you see them come out of their shells though, and it's a really nice romance. It's probably the most humorous one.
That'd be quite a nice dynamic if I would have paid attention.
If you would have paid attention, yeah, especially because it's Martin Freeman. Although this is one scene in particular. I mean, there's a sex scene where Joanna Page is topless, and my mother threw herself in front of the screen the first time I saw this film. Like,
You're like, get out of the way.
yeah, like there's a few films that went very censored by my mom. You know, any
When Harry Met Sally.
any. Oh well, I didn't watch that with her. Thankfully, I watched that by myself, and she just happened to hear. But yeah, like that like there are a lot of films that have been censored by my mom. But it's a really, really nice dynamic, and especially Martin Freeman is delightful as always. Delightful. And yeah, he really conveyed like the shyness offset that you see in the film very well, as always. Then there's another one that you won't have paid attention to. Sarah and Carl.
Played by who?
Laura Linney is Sarah, who you won't know, and I don't remember.
I'm
the
gonna
name.
see the cast to see if I recognize him. Maybe I did see this.
Okay, but I'll just talk you through it.
Okay.
So there's an American woman who works for Alan Rickman, who has a crush on this guy named Carl, and she just keeps like obsessing over him and flirting with him, and then eventually they go back to her house and have sex. Well, begin to have sex, and then her brother, who has some sort of mental issue or mental illness, calls her and interrupts the sex. It's like it is absolutely the weirdest plot line that could have been cut. Absolutely, it's probably in the film the only like properly unsuccessful romance, because there's kind of no resolution to it, which is why it absolutely could have been cut from the film, and I don't know why they kept it in. Are you still looking?
Still
on the
looking.
internet?
Sarah, Carl, and Michael.
Yeah. Michael's her brother, who she calls Babe. Like on the phone, she calls him Babe. Although that's one that we can skip over quite easily. Finally, the last kind of romance I had down was Colin and the American Girls.
Okay.
If you would like to quote Colin.
I'm the god of sex.
Did he say that? Did he not say I'm a sex god?
Why have I messed it up again? Okay.
He sounded like Savitar from the Flash Season 3. I'm the god of speed. Like that. That is such a. He is such a creep.
And he pretty much opens the. It's not the opening of the film, but like.
Well, he's hitting on people at Juliet and
like,
Peter's wedding.
I'm gonna go to America and have a new start because I will get laid over there. I was just like,
which
no.
I'm like, no, you're not. And then he has like, he has a threesome. Sorry, he has a foursome. Like when he gets to America because they're so attracted to his English accent.
I mean, come on. But then I guess that recalls back to the start when like my sexy British accent.
No,
like,
yeah,
you don't have
it recalls back to it. Doesn't mean it makes sense, Matthew.
I don't know whether
like,
it is a common thing in America. Where,
it's
the British
not.
accent is seen as quote unquote sexy.
Well, like, yeah, specific British accents, but his was not one of the sexiest ones I've heard. But I 100% thought those girls were gonna rob him. 100%.
Take advantage of him.
I was so confident because one of them's January Jones, and they're all like, you know, feeling up his shoulders.
January Jones is like one of those people, those actresses who plays like an attractive woman who is evil. Like
yeah, like I 100% thought he was gonna get stabbed or something, and then he like arrives home, like at the end of the film with like one that's dressed as a cowgirl, named Harriet. It's one of the most bizarre plot lines of the film.
Could have been cut.
As I said, yeah. I mean, I'd say there's 3 or 4 that could have been cut. Definitely the one with Sarah and Carl that you don't even remember. Probably Colin and maybe John and Judy, because I mean that like it's humorous, but it doesn't.
I think the ones I'd keep are.
I think really the only ones that you need are the ones that actually interconnect, like the ones that
Prime Minister and then.
Well, like Prime Minister, then the Colin Firth one. Keira Knightley's and
Liam Neeson's maybe.
Liam Neeson's and Alan Rickman's. If you had those 5 plot lines, that would be a much better film.
How many is
I think.
9? Did you say?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 independent stories.
But see, it doesn't feel like that much when you're watching it. Well, obviously I didn't watch. Wasn't concentrating most of it. But then it feels like. There's some big actors here who don't have a lot of screen time.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. It's surprising how I mean, Martin Freeman, you know, he's a fun part of it, but he's barely in it. Just some concluding thoughts. What do you think of the music?
Didn't really notice anything. It wasn't
Really?
very noticeable for me.
It has one of the best most romantic film scores, I think.
Yeah. Like, do you mean like songs used or soundtrack?
No, the only really notable song is. What's her name? Oh no, what? The song from 1994 that's a famous Christmas song.
Is it Mariah Carey? All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yes, it's that one. Please cut out my period of unsureness. It is a very cheesy film. And I think
it embraces that though.
Yeah, like that's why I find the tone like it's very romantic and it's uplifting. I think you know it is a fun watch. Like I think it clearly has its flaws, but I think it's like charming nonetheless.
Out of 10, buddy.
Oh, see, I really enjoy it, but it's probably not a very well made film, so I'd probably give it this.
So the next film that we're going to talk about is About Time.
Yes, 2013, directed by Richard Curtis. Again, one of my favourite directors, obviously. Do you want to start?
No, you work ahead. This is your favourite movie.
This is indeed my favourite film of all time, actually.
Yeah.
I've seen him probably close to a dozen times. Maybe 10. My most recent watch was obviously a few days ago in preparation for this. But, I mean, it's perfect in every single way, and I'm sure we might reach the same conclusion. I don't know. Haven't heard Matthew's full thoughts yet. Do you want to start with the lead actors maybe?
So you introduced me to this Irish actor called Donald Gleeson.
Donal.
Donal.
Yeah.
Oh well. Good
Yeah.
start. No, I think he's fantastic in this.
Yeah.
He I think his main credit, which I'll have to give him credit for, is how he portrays a man in different ages through his life. Like he presents
Yeah.
like not a teen, but sort of 21-year-old lad
Yeah,
really
yeah.
well, and then sort of when he, mid-30s, I'm guessing, by the end of the movie, with his third
Presumably,
kid.
yeah.
He does that excellently, and it's not as if like he has a midlife crisis or anything. He's a really fantastic actor, and his English accent's
Oh, he nails
phenomenal.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Really good.
Nails it.
What are your opinions?
Oh yeah, excellent. If we want to talk about the romance, Rachel McAdams is also an excellent actress.
Absolute delight.
Delightful in this film.
Yeah.
How convinced were you by the romance?
I just like the way it starts off as a blind date. I just really like that. It's a literal blind date. You know, it's a really nice. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, actually.
Well, we'll go on to talk specifics, but
she has a fringe in this movie. She doesn't usually.
okay.
She rocks the fringe.
You like it?
I do like the fringe.
I'm not a massive fan.
No, her English. She doesn't. No, sorry, she doesn't have an English accent.
No.
Her American accent. She is American.
She is American. She nails
She
it.
nails it. See, the Movie Mates podcast, we really know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Your opinions on Rachel McAdams?
Oh, like a delight, yeah.
Yeah. Convincing romance.
Yeah, she does nail the American accent. Weird that. Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah. I think the chemistry is amazing. And that's obviously down to them.
Yeah.
That they're one of the couples that I'm like, sad that they didn't get together.
In real life?
Yeah. Like there's that, and Chuck and Sarah from Chuck. Yeah.
I haven't watched Chuck, but I'm aware of it.
They both married other people. He's divorced now, but
Zachary Levi?
Yeah, but she's unfortunately still married.
Unfortunately.
I still ship them.
What are your opinions on Uncle Desmond?
Oh, Uncle Desmond is so pure. Like when he holds the baby, that's a beautiful moment. Yeah.
Bill Nye is the father.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor. Really.
Once again, one of the best British actors around, I think.
Yeah, and he's underrated.
Yeah, big time. I mean, you hadn't really heard of him before.
No, the first movie I saw him in was Shaun of the Dead, which I could guess you could count as a rom-com.
Maybe
a little bit, but
I suppose.
I have here Margot Robbie's in this film.
Oh, she is
She
indeed.
plays Kit Kat's friend.
Yes.
It's
a very distant connection.
She's barely in it, to be honest.
It's her boyfriend's cousin.
Yeah.
That is a weird connection. How do you find her British accent?
I think her British accent's okay.
I think it's definitely okay.
I think the fact that the Australian accent is quite similar to the English accent generally helps her.
Yeah. Which makes it kind of like less excusable that it's not like she doesn't nail it.
I think it's better than her Brooklyn accent.
Really?
As Harley Quinn, yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Do you want to go on to any other characters or scenes you'd like to talk about?
Well, if we could just start roughly at the start.
Yeah, okay.
I wanted to talk to you about a scene in which Kit Kat joins Tim in the bed.
Yeah, I thought that was so strange.
Because they are clearly a very close family.
Intimate family.
An intimate family. Yeah. But when she says sexy pajamas, too close.
Maybe a little. Yeah. Although I think Kit Kat is, I don't know who plays Kit Kat.
I forget.
I think her role is maybe, to be the comedic punch in the movie, I guess.
Oh yeah. She definitely adds comedic value.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about time travel?
Yeah. Well.
Or did you want to?
I want to talk about the philosophical consequences of it and stuff.
I mean, maybe we can just talk about how it's unique. It adds like a uniqueness to the film, and then as we talk about the film's events, we can talk about more philosophical consequences. But yeah, this is, I mean, in other than The Time Traveler's Wife, I can't really think of another kind of romantic film that incorporates time travel. So I think it adds like a real uniqueness.
It embraces it because it seems like if this movie didn't embrace its silliness, it would get absolutely slated for being ridiculous. The fact that, a guy has to go into a dark cupboard and clench his fists really tight, it's quite silly.
Yeah.
But I think it embraces that, and it is quite humorous, I think. I think it's a good idea.
I think with the chemistry that the lead actors have, I think you could entirely take out the time travel plot and the film would be nearly as good.
I think the film's main sort of theme is father-son relationship. Yeah. It is a rom-com, don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah.
But
like, really, I mean, I chose the 4 films that we're talking about today, and I kind of just squeezed this one in. It's questionably not a rom-com, but I just really wanted to talk about it as soon as I could.
I know it's still a rom-com and it's a great
Yeah.
one at that, but I think another theme is not all rom-coms have this, but the father-son dynamic. You mentioned it with Love Actually with Liam Neeson and his
Yeah.
stepson. This is probably does it better, I would say.
Yeah.
And
This still embraces love, but it's not romantic.
Bill Nye, you'd want Bill Nye to be a member of your family, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, he's the best.
Yeah. So time travel then, what are your opinions on it and how they do it compared to other movies in general, not just rom-coms? Like we've seen this in Days of Future Past, we've seen it in Endgame and stuff.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like that this film. This film is probably the time travel film that sticks closely, the most close to its own rules that it sets out. So I respect it for that. How did you feel?
I was just confused as to why when Tim has children it disables him from going back to certain moments, because when he has his third child he sort of contemplates the idea that he can no longer see his dad anymore.
Yeah.
Why is that? I was confused as to what
It's
it was.
because his dad died before the birth of his second child.
Right.
So before his second child is born, he has to. Oh no, it's his third child.
Third child, yeah.
His dad dies between his second and third child, so he can't see his dad after his third child's born, because then they will become a different child, because time travel messes up like which sperm.
That is actually is mentioned, because he ends up having a son instead in one of the timelines.
In one of the timelines, yeah. That's because he altered events that occurred before the birth of his first daughter, which was when he stopped Kit Kat from meeting Jimmy.
Yeah.
So, that messed up which child was born.
I think it can get confusing, but I think it does it really well.
Yeah, I think it's the best attempt at time travel in a film for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it done better anywhere else. Yeah, I have to. If you want to talk about the moral implications now, I do have. Using that power for romance, for his romantic gain. How do you
to be
think
honest,
about that?
I think that if it was just him that had the ability to do it,
Yeah.
I would probably slate him a bit more. But because it's like his whole family has, all the male members of his family have that ability.
Yeah. He's probably been born as a result of doing the same thing.
Yeah, like it never. When you think about it, though, like the events that we're seeing him in, like when he goes back in time, let's say with it, and then he sees his father or something. Like
Yeah.
his father could also be time traveling there.
Yeah.
Because he could just be in a younger body, but
Yeah.
be self-aware that he's time traveling.
I mean, he definitely is, because when his dad tells him about his diagnosis, that's the second time they've had that conversation.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think that he's not aware of when his dad's time traveling. Yeah, I think it is layers deep. It's a very complex
It is, yeah.
and interesting film.
What are your opinions on like using time travel for romantic gain?
I don't know. It seems a bit. It seems a bit like he's taking advantage. Well, I mean, he obviously is taking advantage of his position.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if that's right to kind of, because then he's learning information about Mary and then using it to.
That's shown in the Kate Moss exhibit.
Yeah.
It just ruins the blind date. Like it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Which is really sad, because that was like the best scene in the movie for me.
Yeah.
It never happened.
Yeah, and then he robs that guy Rupert of having a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like he just steals Mary
I
away
love
from
how
him.
like, your friend is like, we need to go, Mary, because this guy's about to sexually assault me.
Yeah. She was not American, but that's fine.
No, it's
Vanessa Kirby.
That's one of my favourite scenes of the movie. Well, I suppose we'll talk about this later in more detail, but when Richard McDonald was like, okay, so my parents, small C conservative, but no oral sex, okay? Then they knock on the door, he's like, oh yes, Tim lives with me, and he's like, oh,
But
no oral sex!
Yeah, that is.
Look at the spike there.
But that is such a good scene. I didn't have it down to talk about that, so
I love that.
that is excellent. So we talked about Margot Robbie.
We did.
Do you think that Charlotte is cruel in not properly rejecting him? Because she sort of says, I mean, she says, oh, if only, you hadn't done it before the last night, and then in the changed timeline she says, oh, wait till the last night, so she doesn't properly reject him. Do you think that's a
I think it's
bad thing to do?
as a result of different events occurring before it, if you get me. It's like
Right.
her opinion probably would have been like she probably wouldn't have rejected him
Really? I think the whole time she was just lying.
even during.
Yeah, I think she
Before
was.
the
I think she
previous-
was just trying to be nice to him,
After
but
after the blind date.
Charlotte,
Sorry, not Charlotte. What's her name?
Mary.
Mary. Yeah.
I was talking about Charlotte.
Okay. Well. Okay. Go.
But I mean when she says, "Oh, come back on the last night," and then he does.
It's probably I think she's probably leading them on. Maybe will she?
Oh, I think she was leading him on by saying like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen now, but it could have," and then he changes it, and it turns out it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Have.
Yeah.
So
True. But in terms of like Mary, do you think she was leading Tim on after the blind date?
how so?
I mean, I don't think
Do
this.
you mean in the museum?
No,
I
mean when she's like, you know, exchanging numbers. Do you think she did that out of kindness?
Oh no, I absolutely think they had a connection.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously felt that if he was so willing to, you know, change time for her.
Yeah.
You know, he said, "This is the one woman for me." Which, would you know that after one date? I don't know
Well,
what that.
I guess that's a whole debate about love at first sight. Does it exist
Yeah.
or whatever? But
As in full honesty, this is the second time we're recording this.
Yeah.
The first one deleted.
see, that's what we're doing. Like the Movie Mates podcast, we like to appear as if we're like time travelers. You know, we record this again.
So I don't remember. We had a discussion about love at first sight on this podcast, but I don't remember if it was.
We could do it again because I don't remember if we talked about it.
I think we talked about it in Notting Hill.
Okay.
Maybe. So
or when Harry Met Sally, maybe or something.
maybe. Basically, our thoughts are,
No.
we don't agree with it.
I have one question here about do they age Bill Nye up with prosthetics during the movie to make him older?
I don't think they do age him up, but I think they added a little makeup. Like it was upsetting because he looks really sickly.
What in the ping pong scene when he's
Yeah, like I don't think they aged him up, but I think they made him look sick. Which I mean,
It's very
obviously he
convincing.
was. Yeah, I mean it was, as I said, it was upsetting. I just want to talk about one moment where Tim is leaving when he's moving to London, and Kit Kat gives the car the finger.
Yeah.
And I just instantly thought of myself because
Kit Kat is great.
That's exactly what. Yeah, she is.
I think it's Uncle Desmond who's played by a man called Tom Hollander, not Tom Holland.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware of that actor, but I wasn't sure
He's
if that was
very
him.
talented.
Huh?
I have one bit here about where is it? Yeah, the walk scene when his dad has revealed to him that he's got cancer and that he's trying to has been trying to prolong it by going back in time and extending it for however many months or whatever. It's a really emotional scene, really heartbreaking scene when they walk on the beach of Cornwall, which by the way is a fantastic setting for the film. I think
Very very British. Like
Very
it's
British,
very
yeah,
distinctly British.
very very British, especially your mother is like, do you have any flaws, dear? And she's like, I think I've got one for your son, and then she's just like. You know, come on, British accent is not good. I did something like an oil there or something.
I couldn't understand any of that.
You know the bit where
Yeah, no, I know what you're scene you're talking about. But yeah, that is a really heartbreaking goodbye.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I'd probably do exactly the same in that scenario. Yeah.
Because that's the only. Sorry to interrupt, but that's the only scene where I recognise that they're both aware that they're time traveling together. There's no other scene where you see that, which I like.
Yeah, that's one where they specifically like go to the same point as their current selves together. Yeah, that's very interesting. Although, no, I don't want to pick holes in that. Cut that out.
We did talk about in the original cut about bringing Kit Kat along with him to the Kate Moss exhibit.
Well, no, not to the Kate Moss exhibit, but when he goes back to the New Year's Eve party,
that's
then, he takes her with him, even though it's meant to only be the men that can travel in time. But I think
he can extend that ability, I imagine.
Yeah, I can suspend my disbelief for that, because I do think that.
I guess it's a similar principle, like only Time Lords can time travel, but then they can bring people along with them in Doctor Who, if you get me. So
like they can't pilot the TARDIS or whatever, but they can come on adventures.
Yeah.
Would you like to participate in that darkroom date?
I think it's a nice idea. Yeah.
Really? I don't.
It's a bit like, I don't know. Like they obviously it wasn't because the waiter just places them beside two women, but they could have boyfriends and
I think the point of it is to like start a romance. Like I don't
a
think
literal blind date, I guess.
Yeah. I think you are there to meet people.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's a really sweet idea.
Really?
What's your opinions?
Well, I mean, I don't believe in, falling in love with someone's looks or their personality. I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah. Okay.
I, find people attractive based on both factors.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
I wouldn't want to completely eliminate one of those factors.
Well, that is true. I guess it's personal preference as to what you
Yeah.
sort of attribute to attraction.
Yeah. What did you think of Harry as a character? He's very pessimistic.
He is pessimistic. Yeah.
Did he remind you of me?
No, I don't think he's. I don't think you're as pessimistic as him.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's important. Like the film has a lot of diverse characters, doesn't it? So I guess it switches up between the nerdy sort of socially awkward Tim to the love interest of Mary and stuff.
Yeah.
I like this character.
Yeah, one of my
He's
favorite.
probably my least favorite character in the film right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has one of my favorite lines, which was like, he was talking about his daughter, and he was like, "You can have sex with her if you like. Everyone else has." I was just like, "That's absolutely brutal." I was just gonna say, when he changes the timeline, for Harry's play,
It's very sweet.
Like, well, I was gonna say he's always knowledgeable of how time has changed, but then he seems like surprised that he lost Mary's number. Like he's typing in his phone Mary, and I'm like, mate, like you missed you missed the date.
I know. I guess it's a plot hole, but there's always gonna be like that with time travel, isn't it?
Yeah. What did you think of the film score? It's just obviously Tim goes to the art museum and Friday I'm in Love by The Cure plays, and that's one of my favorites.
That's a really good tune. The score itself, I didn't really notice it. I'll be honest.
Really?
Not really.
The score or the soundtrack?
The score.
Really?
Yeah.
I think both are excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, The Cure Friday I'm in Love is an instant classic.
Yeah.
But
I love it.
yeah, it's a good song.
Is that where you had? Well, obviously that's not where you'd first heard it, because
I've
played it for you before
Yeah.
you. I've written in my notes: is Tim a stalker? Like it seems like he did get too obsessed too quickly. He's had one date with her, and then at the art museum he's kind of waiting days until she appears.
That is weird.
And like you spent 2 hours with her.
No, but I get it. Like if you felt like she was the one, you'd do anything.
Could you
get
feel
her.
that after a couple of hours?
I don't know. It depends if you have an instant connection.
Yeah, I suppose. But I don't think they showed enough of that to get me on board of that.
Yeah, I guess. I'm a big believer in attraction is subjective. So to someone, they maybe think that person's the one within a couple hours of meeting them, like in Tim's case, but then it may take another person months or to even live with him and stuff like that, So I get why he was probably, for his personal preference, he would probably obsess a little bit.
Yeah. I had this thought while watching him kind of, repeat his meeting with Mary, and I just thought he is definitely going to forget, like, which way he officially met her. She, by the end of the film, how she met him was at that party, but he might just, like, one time reference their darkroom date, and she's like, what?
Yeah, that might be an awkward conversation over the dinner table.
It might well be.
Remember that time when we had oral sex, Mary? She's like, what? We've never had oral sex? He's just like, oh. Must have been a different woman.
What did you think of their sex scene? Did you enjoy it?
Sex scene in the movies I'm not a big fan of, to be honest.
Well,
it must be. I just think about how awkward it must be to film.
No, like when it's too sexy and it's like cringy and it's just a bunch of close-ups of women moaning. But this was like for comedic value.
Yeah.
And every time he repeats, he walks in and it's like, especially like when he just like bursts in and she hasn't finished changing and she just goes oh, and he's like couldn't wait.
I like the bit where Mary's trying on dresses. And then,
he can't tell the difference.
Yeah, whether it's only where she walks in, he's just like stunning. She's just like, I'm getting the dress that this goes over, and then she's like, bad boy. That's great.
I wanted to talk to you about the moral implications of specifically the sex scene, because he keeps repeating their first time together. He repeats it. So by the end of it, he's had sex with her like 4 times, and she's only aware of once. Which seems kind of a bit seedy.
Taking advantage, maybe.
Yeah,
because
because then
it's certainly an abuse of your power.
Yeah, because he's had sex with her and she doesn't know. So that is odd.
It's odd.
Well, not odd, kind
I
of
think because
awful, but whatever.
Donald? What is
Donald?
Donald?
Yeah.
No, I can't. I think because Donald Grayson is such a nice guy, and he presents such a nice, innocent character in this, it's forgivable.
You don't even think about it, like, you're just like,
yeah,
no, do that,
do you know what I mean? Like, when you really think about it, it's quite, it does seem like he's taking advantage of her.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah. This film is very different because, unlike every other rom-com, there's no conflict and resolution. Kind of the conflict is him losing her number and having to get her back.
The characters are never,
But
like, upset with each other.
No, there's never a breakdown of their relationship.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. It makes it completely unique. You know, it ends up with them together. Like, they're together throughout the film. It's just he has to, get her multiple times.
Yeah. What do you feel about, like, is it Margot Robbie's character? He ends up being interested in him in an alternate timeline, and then he turns her down.
Yes, he turns her down.
That's a wise move, I think.
Well, it's definitely a wise move, but I don't think that should have been what made him want to propose to his wife. He's like, I came very close to having sex with Margot Robbie. Marry me. Like, that seems quite questionable.
I guess it just, like, put the thought in his head that, she's definitely the one for me. Maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. And getting on to the proposal, what did you think of that? Did you find that an emotional scene?
I actually preferred the wedding scene, the best man speech.
Oh, yes, I love the best man
speeches.
speeches.
It is quite sad that his best man is his dad.
Well, why is that bad? Like,
it's not a bad thing, but I mean...
His dad seems like the best person in his life.
His dad's a hero.
His dad's a great guy.
But then, like, I wish he had this, like, I wish there was a really, like... I know he does with his friend at the start, but I wish he had, like, a really cool, side character to bounce off him.
Yeah, I suppose. Let's talk about the wedding briefly.
Great scene.
I cried the most recent time I watched it. It's genuinely
my
beautiful.
Son and stuff, and then my dad.
Oh no, I just mean when the church doors opened and Il Mondo by Johnny Fontana was playing, and then Rachel McAdams stepped through. I just burst into tears. Like it was such a beautiful scene.
And it wasn't like an occasional wedding. And I love the way Richard Curtis,
the director, yes,
he subverts it by having it being a really dreadful day.
Oh,
weather-wise, I mean, everyone's drenched.
And then she didn't want it any other way, which is lovely.
It was just such a great, like, British scene, if you get me.
It
was just a nice.
You never see bad weather in an American film.
I was like really, it was a really sweet scene, wasn't it? You don't get that in movies anymore.
No. Well, we've already talked about Uncle Desmond holding the baby. I found that very pure. That was very nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about weird names for kids? Posey? I've never heard that name before, have you?
No, never.
No. We talked about Tim bringing Kit Kat back in time.
Yeah.
What did you think of Kit Kat and Jay's relationship? It kind of reminded me of the Spike Honey relationship in Notting Hill, where it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, like it came out of...
very similar.
It's almost exactly the same because
they're both odd.
They're both very odd, which is why I supported it, even though it didn't really give any development as to why that relationship is.
Is that the same director?
He wrote Notting Hill. He didn't direct it.
It is remarkably similar now I think about it.
Well, maybe he saw that was successful,
maybe.
And then you should always repeat success. So I understand that perfectly. Were you shocked when Tim's decisions changed the gender of his baby? Like in that scene, it's kind of almost like a horror film.
Showed the consequences of his actions.
It kind of reminded me of the opening of Avengers Endgame when Hawkeye's children disappear.
Yeah.
He goes in completely unaware of the change in timeline, which surprised me. Like
he should be aware of that.
Yeah, like I would have thought about that before changing the timeline. But were you surprised when you saw that it wasn't his daughter anymore? Because I think it is meant to be quite a shocking moment, and I think the score kind of highlights that.
It definitely shows the consequences of his actions. I guess it's sort of like a metaphor, as it was originally a boy, wasn't it?
It was originally a girl.
It was originally a girl, and then the irony is that it's a boy who will be a time traveler.
Oh,
so
yeah. I didn't even think of that.
So, like, the irony is, that boy would probably be subjected to the same mistakes that his dad made, maybe.
I didn't even... I've seen it a bunch of times. I didn't even think of it in that level of complexity.
I really like this film.
Yeah.
Really good.
As you've mentioned the dress scene, there was one notable quote. Would you rather look like a prostitute or a dwarf? Which was a personal highlight. That's a good line. Moving on to the dad's diagnosis is genuinely heartbreaking. It's one of the most devastating movie moments in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just, especially like in the sequence that you hear the characters finding out about it. You know, you don't hear until they're actually talking with the dad, but before that you go through several layers of characters. You know, you see Mary's reaction, and then you see Tim's reaction, and then you see Tim's mother's reaction.
Yeah.
And then you actually get the whole story when you meet the dad. So I think by that time, like, you've been through like a bunch of emotional turmoil.
It is, yeah.
It's like
So-
this film is impeccably written, and that is 100% intentional.
It's what the script is fantastic.
Yeah, without doubt. And then Desmond's emotional reaction to his diagnosis is heartbreaking, in my opinion. He says that Tim's dad had said that he loved him on the day of the best man speech, and that was probably the best day of his life, which means that this is probably the worst. And that really hit me.
Yeah.
It was really powerful, and that really
Pulled the heartstrings.
that really hit me this time I watched it. If you could, would you live life like Tim does, in the way that, you know, he goes through the hardships of his day and then repeats it without all of the stress?
That was a philosophy his dad lived by, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
But then I like the way at the end of the film he chooses not and just lives it one day at a time.
Yeah.
Obviously if I don't know what I'd do with time travel. I think I'd probably like go out and change a few things, but
You would?
yeah. I would.
Yeah, I probably would as well.
But
But I mean, there's no real point in changing things because you still remember the old timeline. Like, I would want to change things so that I don't remember
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you change the timeline so you were like cooler in primary school, that doesn't mean that you don't remember you were bullied or something.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like it doesn't really change anything for you, and that's really what you're trying to do.
I think the concept of like living the day through all the anxiety and anguish and then going back and living it without that, it's a nice thought.
Yeah.
But then I do agree with the philosophy that you should live it one day at a time, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
But then if he did go back in time and live the day twice, would that age him twice as fast?
No, I think it'd age him half as fast. Wait, what?
No,
I
it
think
would just be the same age, wouldn't it?
it would just be the same age, because he's going into his younger self,
Ah, okay.
and then living, and then that younger self is going into his younger self, and then
Yeah.
vice, continues on. So like he could live like 200 years if he wanted to.
Easily.
Well, yeah, I mean he could live millions of years. Like, he could just go back into his child self, grow up, and then go back into his child self again, and keep doing that until he, forever.
Yeah.
If he really wanted to. I just think this film has a really charming atmosphere.
It does. It's a really sweet film.
Yeah, I mean, the romance and the music, like, I know you didn't notice, but I think if you watched it again, you would absolutely notice the score.
Maybe.
Because it's genuinely, it's one of the best I've ever heard.
Would you like a sequel to this, or are you happy that storyline's...
It's honestly one of the most satisfying film endings for me. I'm usually really disappointed by film endings, but rom-coms seem to always nail it for me.
Yeah.
This one, I think, has a perfect ending. Just seeing Tim living his life happy.
Yeah.
It was nice to see,
Because
because
his daughter's going into school and
Yeah,
stuff. It's
and-
nice. It's really nice.
yeah, I mean, Donald Gleason doesn't look like a dad, does he?
No,
Like,
he looks
Like, he was just wearing a suit and like waving off to his daughter, and I was like, mate, you're 14. Like, he
I
looks,
just like
he
the
looks
way it
really
ends
young.
with, they're on the phone to each other and like, oh, I'll see you later and stuff. It's
Yeah.
just a nice ending, wasn't it?
Yeah. Was there anything else you had to say?
Just ending is great.
Yeah.
No, that's all really.
That's all I have to say. How would you rate it?
9.
I know I've been critical of this film, but that's just because since doing the podcast, I have to think a bit more critically. So I have picked holes in it, but honestly, I would give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Masterpiece?
Yes, it's probably my favorite film of all time. I mean, I'm gonna have problems with every film. There's no perfect film like 100%, but in my level of enjoyment and how much, I want to see it again. It's not like,
Does it have a rewatchability to it?
100%, yeah. Like, in a year or so, if you rewatch it, you'll notice like even more layers deep. So I would give it a 10 out of 10. So those are all my thoughts on About Time.
Yeah.
So to conclude the episode, do you have any?
No,
thoughts?
just we thought we'd just do a rom-com episode just to branch out a bit from the superhero movies we've been doing.
Yeah.
And we both love rom-coms and
Yeah.
stuff. So.
I mean, this is probably my favorite genre.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought you guys might like to hear about some of our favorites. I know Love Actually isn't. It isn't like in my top 4, but I just thought I'd discuss it because it is quite popular. But the other 3 are sensational.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend, if you've only listened to certain parts of this episode, I would go back after you've watched some, after you've watched the others that you haven't seen, because they're all excellent.
We will be following up with the romantic genre.
Oh yeah.
In general, like we'll be doing other films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And TV show reviews. As
Yeah,
well.
and there's dozens of rom-coms that I love, so this will undoubtedly be part 1 of several.
Yeah, definitely.
Those are all my thoughts.
Those are all my thoughts. Yeah, stay tuned to the channel for a special Stanley retrospective video.
Yeah,
coming soon. We're still trying to branch out the content. You know, we'll still be doing the podcast. And yeah, we'll be doing a Toy Story review just before Toy Story 4.
Yep.
So
we're also throwing out the idea of maybe doing commentaries sometime soon.
Just branch out a bit and give our thoughts on some just movies we think are so bad or great, basically. So thanks very much for watching, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Like, subscribe, comment. If you want to share your thoughts on the movies we talked about, just comment below.
Absolutely.
See you next time, guys.